Did you see that there's team names for the LIV Golf?
Oh God.
Yeah, there's LIV Golf has captains for their teams, and in real life we have a scenario in which Sergio Garcia is captaining the Fireballs.
Da 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 da.
And is anyone else imagining this golf being played at LIV?
The name is confusing
pretty much.
to me.
Yeah.
Did you see Arlo White is the play-by-play voice after a week after it looked like he was replaced on NBC's soccer coverage? He is now the voice of LIV Golf. Stugotz, I'm curious to know your thoughts because Phil Mickelson was going to be a part of this, and then he wasn't a part of the initial names. I guess he let Dustin Johnson kind of dip his toe in the water, see what the reaction was to that, and then decided he is indeed coming out with this. But I don't know if you saw his statement on it, and he really leaned into finally formally acknowledging what everybody knew, which is, hey, I have a gambling problem.
Right.
And I actually thought it was a bit of sage advice from his advisors to just say, hey, yeah, I'm doing this money grab because I need money. My family's been so supportive. I have a disease. I am this gambling addict. I've made a lot of bad choices. So at least now he has his rationalization and justification for grabbing this money. I found it curious.
The only way Phil Mickelson can make this amount of money playing golf still is by playing in this, playing in the LIV League, right? He's not going to earn it on the PGA Tour. He can't. He's 51 years old. He's not going to win enough tournaments. So this is the only way. He still has one money grab left, and LIV is it, to handle his gambling problems, to settle his gambling debts, and to hopefully make a lot of money, I guess, for himself and his family. I do find it interesting that Tiger Woods turned down nearly $1 billion to be a part of this, but Tiger Woods can still earn money at an exceptional clip. What's fascinating about this is Phil has now jeopardized the things that mean a lot to Phil in terms of the majors. I know he's going to play in the U.S. Open. It's an open invitational, but the PGA is going to try to block it, and they're going to try to block him playing future majors. I do believe that. I think if you choose to play in LIV and go against the PGA Tour, that Tim Fincham, the PGA commissioner, is going to try to block you from playing in the majors, and that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out because Phil desperately wants to play in the U.S. Open, thinks he can win it one more time, wants to win it one more time, and that's really the crazy thing with Phil because he respects and cares about the game and the history of the game so much, but he's a desperate man who needs money. And this is the only way Phil was going to make this kind of money at this age and this point of his career. And so I guess, unfortunately, he did what he had to do to earn that money.
Cares about the game in which his team of the High Flyers are going to try to take down the Fireballs. Loves the history of the game. Career earnings, not counting sponsorships, $120 million career earnings for Tiger Woods.
Right.
$200 million guaranteed deal for Phil Mickelson right now by playing LIV Golf. Dustin Johnson, with this deal, eclipsed the career earnings of the greatest golfer maybe ever in Tiger Woods. Can't even imagine the number Tiger Woods actually turned down.
But I understand the reasons and why Phil is doing it. Dustin Johnson, that's the curious one to me.
Yeah, two-time major winner.
That guy's in the prime of his career, has plenty of earning potential left on the PGA Tour. And because you're throwing away some of your credibility by not playing on the PGA Tour.
All of your credibility.
You are.
Dustin Johnson has never given a flying F about what people think or his he has a reputation on tour.
But Mike,
about what surrounded him in the past, what he leans into on social media. Dustin Johnson does not give a shit.
Maybe you're right, Mike, but this feels like something you do when you're 48, 49, 50, when you're Phil's age and you've run out of options. It does not feel like something you do in the prime of your career. And that's where Dustin is.
I read, so Greg Norman in a profile with the Washington Post said that it was high 9 figures that they offered Tiger Woods.
Everyone is reporting it's $1 billion.
Right. So either way, I find fascinating that this league is throwing around this amount of money. And their first event is this weekend, I believe, in London. And they don't have a broadcast deal in the United States. What is the route to revenue for this?
It's going to be on YouTube.
Okay, but that's not a broadcast deal. That's you just putting your stream somewhere. I mean, maybe you make some commercials. Like, that's not a massive amount of revenue. And so I just find interesting, like, what's the end game here, Spence? Like, what is LIV Golf after?
They need marquee events. Like the PGA Tour has the majors. I was stunned to learn that the majors are still in play for these names. Because then I read that, I'm like, okay, well, LIV Golf doesn't mean anything to me. I get to still see the big names, so...
But, Mike, keep in mind, the Opens are open invitationals, right? So you have the Open Championship in England, you have the U.S. Open. Those are open invitationals, right? So Phil could probably still play in those. The PGA, he's never going to play in again, probably.
Well,
and he won it last year, and the Masters is something I doubt he's going to play. That means a lot to Phil.
Phil in his statement
But the money means more at this stage of his career.
Phil in his statement said that he intends to keep playing in the majors. And he did have an open invitation to play in the PGA Championship. Now, he hadn't yet signed with LIV Golf, but it doesn't seem like the retaliation has come yet. But I just, like, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which is behind this, bought Newcastle United in the Premier League. They immediately, after buying them, won 10 out of 15 games. They finished in the top half of the Premier League. They're going to keep buying great players. They're going to win a bunch of games. You know that Newcastle is going to be a success. It seems like they're throwing around all in something like $1 billion on trying to create a golf competitor. I don't know what the tangible outcomes are that quantify success.
It's not just laundering the money, correct? It's not just sports washing the money. That can't possibly be the main purchase agreement. Cannot be. We can disrupt all of golf by grabbing Greg Norman and Dustin Johnson, and this is a sports entity that can be disrupted by creating a super league with our money that has consequences, but is so worth the risk for someone like Phil Mickelson, Stugotz, that I think we really did bypass one of the more interesting parts of this story. Oh, what great advice he just got. Just get out there with, I've got a sickness, I've got an illness, I really need the money. Look, this isn't a desperate ploy that I was trying to cover up before when I was giving interviews flippantly and being like, hey, it's Norman saying mistakes are going to be made when you bonesaw a journalist, and it's Phil Mickelson saying, I know they're awful, but we can change the game, and that's what really matters. It's not about changing the game anymore. It's been laid bare. Phil Mickelson's got a gambling problem. He needs money, and we don't even know if that's the true part. It's the grenade he fell on because he needs to get to the money, and he's willing to go through the, go ahead, make me a degenerate. Make me somebody who's got a huge gambling problem. I will cop to it.
But this is the only way I can get that money.
It'll look and feel like honesty and vulnerability, but I'm not giving it to you until I can get to the paycheck, until I'm incentivized to give you this honesty because it's the only thing that saves my ability to actually make this money.
He learned from his own PR misstep, which was he was the first name, and he got all the heat from it, and to the point that when the initial announcement rolled out, he wasn't a part of it. It made me question, did he get too much of a blowback by being the face of this beyond Greg Norman, that it made him reconsider and not want any of it. And then he saw the reaction of Dustin Johnson, and we barely talked about it. Nationally, it wasn't discussed. They did it during a perfect part in the sports calendar. You have all these finals going on, perfect time to just drop that in there. You waited for a couple of days, boom, I'm in there right before the first event, no blowback, none of that PR hit. It was masterful for somebody that stepped into it so poorly at the beginning. And the sports washing, I forget washing money and all that. It works for Saudi Arabia. Like I can't hold Dustin Johnson to a higher standard that I hold my own government. It seems a little ridiculous. I can't be saying, well, how do you let Newcastle in the game? I'm a Miami Heat fan. Did you see what happened to Carnival stock over the pandemic? Did you see who helped bail them out a little bit? It's everywhere. If you're a big-time country in the world, you need to do business with Saudi Arabia. You do plenty of business with unseemly characters that don't align with your ideals as a nation. Well, this is a bridge too far for most, though.
But from strictly a sports standpoint, like, guys, they have to resign from the PGA Tour. And you have guys in their prime, Dustin Johnson and others, in their prime deciding, hey, and he even says, I've done enough in my 15 years on tour. I won a couple of majors. I need this in my life right now. It's something new. He needs the money right now. It's like a guy leaving the NFL to go play in the USFL in the prime of his career.
Stugotz, so my question to you would be, as the golf expert, because that has happened, Herschel Walker played in the USFL. Are we talking about a legitimate challenge to the PGA?
I don't think so. Well, 98% of the golfers are still playing on the PGA Tour.
But a super league, you've said before that you would follow a super league.
This is not a super league, though. This is a guy who's 51, one golfer in Dustin Johnson and Kevin Na.
Stugotz, not yet.
Sergio Garcia.
AEW has to start as something that's a competitor. Like not yet.
You're right.
If the if we don't understand the economy of it and the first buy-in is $1 billion because we got this money, like what is the end game, Spence? Is it to nuke the PGA?
I mean, I'm not the biggest golf fan, but I recognize the majority of the names that are associated with this. And on the PGA Tour, I'm often being introduced to golfers when they win a PGA Tour stop. It's not going to be a problem for LIV Golf. Someone you've heard of is winning one of their competitions. Imagine if they partner up. There are plenty of beautiful golf courses across the world that don't have PGA Tour partnerships. You can make these golf courses as big a stars as the actual golfers in there and have something that's compelling to watch, I think.
Well, the LIV Invitational is not going to go anywhere unless they have bigger names than just Phil and Dustin Johnson. And right now, their roster is pretty weak.
Dude, there aren't many bigger names than Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson in the world of golf.
No, but Mike, Phil is arriving at a point like his best golf is well past him. I mean, you're getting an aging Phil Mickelson.
I know, but he's also guaranteed.
He's going to win a ton of tournaments
here. How many golfers have signed up for this? Because you're virtually guaranteeing a final match day, I think, from the way that it looks to me, that's going to have like Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson, and Dustin Johnson all battling it out. These are all names that you recognize. If you tell me that that's the case at the Honda Open, I'm like, ooh, cool. Let me see how that's going.
Yeah, but it's not enough for me, and I love golf. Like unless Phil is battling it out at one of the majors, I don't care.
Not yet, though. Not yet.
Dan, I don't care about the ancillary tournaments. I care about 4 tournaments a year.
How many guys can they steal before you care? Mickelson's one of your favorite players.
They have to steal the majors for me to care.
If they sold Tiger,
I wouldn't care. They'd have to steal Augusta. They'd have to steal the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, the PGA Championship. They would have to steal them. That's what I care about. I'm not sitting there watching a tournament, with the exception of the one in Arizona that we're going to next year.
Waste management.
The waste management. I really don't care about just, any other tournament.
The one that you couldn't name right now?
Yeah, thank you for bailing me out.
But that is cool. You do tune in to see the atmosphere, just like you do when they're at Pebble Beach.
Right.
I think that there are a lot of impressive-looking golf courses that would be dying to have the LIV Golf tournament, the LIV Golf Tour, that you'll tune in just to see, like, whoa, how are they playing this?
Yeah, but playing those courses is a 51-year-old Phil Mickelson, an old Sergio Garcia, and Kevin Na.
Right, yeah.
I just watched Josh Allen play golf.
Don't forget Ian Poulter.
You joined?
A perfect comedic golfing name. Ian Poulter.